This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a coach and consultant? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our good neighbor, Karunah Thomas with KTCC. Karunah, it's great to have you on today. Now, we are so excited to learn more about you and your business. So go ahead and tell our listeners just a little bit more about what you do.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. So I'm the founder of Karunah Thomas Coaching and Consulting. I work mainly with corporate leaders who are navigating career transitions, whether it's a promotion, a job change, reorg, new role, any major change that they're experiencing. So through executive coaching, speaking, and my framework that I call weatherproofing your identity, I help them, equip them for their next chapter. So because I've learned that success isn't just about learning new skills, it's also about evolving our identity that allows us to lead at that next level or the next chapter.
Well, Karunah, I could not agree with you more there. And jumping in back in time for a second here, learning more about you, where was your passion for this type of industry born?
Yes, so looking back, I've spent most of my life creating playbooks or frameworks. So whether it is moving across countries, working in different countries, 35 plus countries that I've worked across, virtually and in person, and leading, brand launches, stepping into roles and challenges in life where you didn't necessarily have a playbook or a roadmap. What started surfacing for me was how can I make it easier for the next person that comes on board? How can I minimize someone else's learning curve and accelerate their growth? So that pretty much has been my motto. And after nearly 20 years in corporate supply chain, international supply chain, I transitioned into executive coaching. And what surprised me was that leaders weren't necessarily struggling with lack of capability or skills. It was more trying to succeed in a new role with the previous identity, with the identity that helped them succeed in their last one. So that realization became the foundation of weatherproofing your identity and the work that I do today.
So, Karunah, when it comes to weatherproofing your identity, what is the biggest misconception you face about what you do?
Yes, so, with weatherproofing, it's similar to the weather. The analogy is exactly the weather. When the weather changes, there's not a whole lot we can do, but we look at the forecast and prepare accordingly. Whether it's good weather, we want to go out. If it's bad weather, we take the necessary precautions. If it's cold, we wear jackets. So it's the same thing with weatherproofing. Your identity. The misconception around that is that leadership development or career transitions is about building new skills, gaining more training, which is also the case. But the leaders that come to me are already at that level, at the higher level, executive level, directors, VPs. They already have the expertise and the capabilities. So what we notice or observe is that letting go of an identity that's no longer serving them in that next role or chapter. So, for example, when a very simple example, when a subject matter expert, an individual contributor becomes a manager, a people leader, they have always seen success by delivering and being the subject matter expert, but making that transition, evolving to where they lead the subject matter experts and they delegate. That's the new identity that they need to evolve into. So it's not necessarily about gaining more skills, gaining more capabilities. It is about letting go of what's no longer serving you to become successful in that next version, role, or chapter requires.
Well, Karunah, I am already loving this conversation we're having today, but we're going to go ahead and switch gears here for a second. Now, we do know that marketing is the heart of every business, especially in your industry. So, ideally, who are you looking to help today, and how are you able to attract them?
So I work with, again, leaders going through any career transitions, any major changes, or just learning to grow in their roles. So I'm on LinkedIn. I work with different coaching companies as well. So yeah, that's the audience that I tailor to our career and corporate leaders.
So, Karuna, as a coach yourself along this journey, what is the biggest challenge you faced?
Yes, actually, when I reflect back, 2020, which I'm sure we all remember was the year of, COVID and a lot of different struggles and challenges that everyone faced. And I made that decision to transition from a global supply chain into HR and executive coaching. What I thought was going to be a slam dunk because I had all the experience and different expertise turned out to be the biggest shocker, where it was not a slam dunk. Doors were not opening. And I looked back wondering, I have all this experience in logistics, operations, international supply chain, ERGs, women's leadership. It almost felt like all that just disappeared overnight when the doors were not opening for me to make that transition. And that's when I realized how much of our worth and value and self we tie to titles and companies and our roles. So the whole experience, and of course through my 2000 hours of coaching across 300 clients, became the inspiration for weatherproofing your identity, my own struggle, and now recognizing that other leaders struggle through sometimes promotions, redundancy, getting a new job, changing cities, even parenting when you are a new parent, then when your child leaves for college, empty nesters, retirement, all these, we tie our worth or our identity to those roles. So those challenges have again helped me with my framework around weatherproofing your identity, where we're able to navigate those transitions, evolve and adapt without losing our sense of value, worth, or a sense of self.
I love that. And in terms of balance, what do you like to do outside of work for fun and a little R&R?
Oh, yes, yes. This is something that I always, coach holistically with my clients as well, that work-life balance. I don't know if the word is balance anymore, but absolutely making sure that we're making time and leading a holistic life. A career is one aspect. And in fact, the book that I love, the 5 elements of well-being, is we have a thriving life if we are balancing or making sure we are thriving in all 5 buckets, which is career or purpose, social, community, physical, mental, and financial. So I have a creative side to me, an artistic outlet. I like to dance and perform. So I've been performing Bollywood, Indian Bollywood dancing and Bharatanatyam for almost a decade. And the most recent one, which is really, really close to my heart, is theater. And I finally got to get back into theater recently because that was a big part of my growing up, school days, college days. I literally lived for our annual theater performance. So that's where I get to explore different roles, different identities, personas, and which really helps with growth and expansion that you otherwise don't get to explore in your day-to-day life.
Wonderful. Well, Karuna, we have certainly had a very full circle interview today, but what our listeners really want to know is where can they go to learn more about KTCC and the services you provide?
Yes, so I am very active on LinkedIn, so they can surely follow me and reach out to me on LinkedIn, which is again Karuna Pai. I go under Karuna Pai over there. I regularly share insights on leadership, career transitions, and weatherproofing your identity. My website is karunathomas.com. So again, I specialize in executive coaching, leadership development, and speaking engagements across a range of different topics, with weatherproofing your identity being my signature framework and talk.
Well, as a little bonus for our listeners today, what is the first step to weatherproofing your identity?
Yes, so it is recognizing, what are some of the strengths and successes that they've had, making a list of all their successes and strengths, and making and checking what worked, what served them earlier, and what is now probably coming in the way of their success. That, I would say, is the first step. Actually doing an inventory of your successes and strengths in your different chapters.
Well, Karunah, I really appreciate you being on the show today. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com. Or call 469-221-9345.